everyone. As you can see, I don't look like a chef or a cook by any means, but I'm here to give you a Tom Yum Goong recipe for entrepreneurship. Before I start, if I can get a quick raise of hands, how many of you have had Tom Yum Goong in a Thai restaurant? Fantastic. Would you agree that it's not like any other soup out there? The Tom Yum Goong is a soup that packs a punch, has so many different flavors all at once, whether it's spicy, bitter, all in this one spoonful. But that spice can actually feel like you're going to battle. One that leaves you with lots of napkins around and tears falling off your eyes. But at the end of it, there's a deep satisfaction. Did I capture that experience well? Hope so. While the Tom Yum Goong reminds us of a hot bowl of soup, it's actually synonymous to the biggest Asian crisis that ever happened in 1997 that started in Thailand. I was just 19 when the crisis hit. And like any other kid, I didn't think it would disrupt my family's well-being or my well-being. My father's company, which was an empire, hotels, real estate, name it, was just 2 weeks away from an IPO. Like any company, had lots of bank loans, and that debt converted from 25 baht to the dollar to 55 baht to the dollar. So that party didn't last very long. I was in Boston studying like any other college kid, and one fine day I find out that my parents are actually borrowing money to pay for my tuition. And I see lots of Asian kids, my friends, actually have to go back home because they can't continue their college. That day, I realized this is real. I felt dark, and life was never going to be the same again for me. The Asian crisis, also known as Tom Yum Goong, marked the beginning of my family's financial and social collapse. The need to survive this crash was the catalyst of my entrepreneurial journey. Hell became reality. We were in hot soup, literally, and it took 10 years for the simmering heat to actually reach a boiling point. Now, let's go back to the soup. How do you make a Tom Yum soup? The three main ingredients: the lemongrass, kaffir lime leaves, that's pungent yet or aromatic, and lastly, galangal, a sharp, peppery cousin of the ginger. You put all these three ingredients together, you get a great Tom Yum soup. But it isn't until you put different flavors, different ingredients, all at a perfect boiling point, that these three ingredients start to release their essence, their potential for giving us that perfect bowl of soup. They say being an entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff and trying to build a helicopter on the way down. And by the way, expect a safe landing. I discovered that there were three critical ingredients that would take me from survival to success and ensure a safe landing. Ingredient number one, the will to survive. To push through darkness. This is critical. Without this, there's nothing else that actually matters. The state of mind that helps you pivot, innovate, and push through. This is what inspires actions, the energy that gives us that ability to just do whatever it takes to persist and actually wait for our desired outcome. Ingredient number two, faith. Faith is blind. There's nothing you can touch, but you can feel it. It's something that's bigger than all of us. Even though you don't know what it is or what to call it, we can feel it. It's something that conspires to help us achieve our goals. Something that helps us never give up. Open every single door, every single opportunity, and check out every network in LinkedIn. And never take no for an answer. Ingredient number 3, patience. Patience is a superpower for any entrepreneur, and it's a critical ingredient for success. When you focus on patience, you get comfortable with it. Reality that something really of great value can be built. And timing, like we heard earlier, is everything, and it takes faith and patience to actually stick around long enough for things to fall into place. I came back from college. There was nothing to actually do in my father's empire. It was crumbling down. Hence, I actually started a company at the age of 21 in telecom and software. And as cliche as this sounds, it was in my father's garage. Eventually, that business took off, and I became financially independent. 5 years later, personally and professionally, I was married to my beautiful wife, had a son, and I had a daughter on the way. And my telecom business was actually thriving. I was thinking to do more businesses. But just as I believed that my family was safe and I had a safe landing, it seemed like the universe just wanted me to boil one more time. When I was 29, 5 years later, exactly 10 years from the 1997 crisis, or the Tom Yum Goong crisis, what was left of this family empire basically came to crumbles. There was incredible amount of debt, legal battles, and lots of creditors. And like a son would do, I saw my father and I picked up and I thought I would resolve. I walked in it and swallowed into this bottomless pit of suffering. This was my rock bottom. But I was not alone. I had my family to support. My instinct was to ensure everyone's survival at that point. As hopeless as that sounds, I had to tap into the power of a force that was greater than me. The faith came in. I needed time, resources, and money. And I was looking at this treacherous mountain in front of me, and none of the resources that I talk about actually I had. So I had to develop patience. With patience, I was able to find money, build new resources, companies, profitabilities, cash flows. All of this while I was at rock bottom. I had to survive, keep the faith and the patience, and practice it eventually until the tides would turn into my favor, which happened 7 years later. And I won the battle of my life. I resolved all the legal debt and repaid everyone, and my life was restored. I wish I could say that the story ends right here, and it would sound great, but that would be a fairy tale ending. Life thought, one more time, I gotta boil this guy. So, rewind back to my telecom business that I started in my father's garage, which I had no idea about, by the way. An opportunity came my way, and I started it. 12 years later, my company was the largest voice over IP technology company in Thailand, Cambodia, and Myanmar. We achieved a great success, all while I was still fighting this personal battle for my family. But while I was battling this, I didn't have the foresight of what was happening in the industry. The voice over IP business was actually tumbling down and getting disrupted by over-the-top players like WhatsApp, Viber, Line, and my business was no exception. Very quickly, this wonderful, thriving business went down to zero. No cash flow, no profitability, and again, I went back to my 3 ingredients that instinctively kicked in: survival, faith, patience. We had to pivot and build a new company, a new industry that would service our 2 million customers that were loyal to us. And like the global trends of telecom companies pivoting to a fintech business, I chose that path. After all, if anyone's using a service to call home, they would use our service to send money home. So we entered the fintech business with no background, no industry knowledge, bootstrapped our entire way to profitability with just a strong will to survive, lots of faith, and lots of patience. The three ingredients again. And the timing, by the way, was just perfect. So today, our fintech company, DeeMoney, is #1 cross-border payment company in Thailand, processing billions of dollars and millions of transactions. While the will to survive, faith and patience were the key ingredients in my journey, and it took a large portion of a crisis and heap spoonful of disruption to really draw out these qualities to their fullest potential within me. So there you have it, folks. Tom Yam Kung, a soup, a crisis, a catalyst for a deeply fulfilling journey from survival to success. So the next time you have Tom Yam Kung, remember this. Thank you, everyone.